Welcome back to our channel, where we like everything that goes boom and pop. If this is the first time you guys have ever tuned into our channel, we like to do anything that shotgun related, anything that's fun, outdoors, things like that. So a little bit about myself. My name is Sean. I do a lot of different things. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a business owner, and I'm an avid shooter. And so the reason we're doing this video is a little bit of an introduction to those that might be beginning in shotgun shooting, wondering, have all the questions like, you know, what am I going to be good at? What guns should I shoot? What ammo should I buy? Things like that. We won't talk about brands and things necessarily, but you know, as a beginner, what you should be looking for, and especially the things that I wish I would have known when I first started shooting. So lately I've been doing some registered targets, which means I'm in my rookie season. And the last shoot that I was in, that was a local association, I won second place in handicap and second place in singles. So my goal is to be world champion someday, and enjoy doing that. So what I would like to share with you guys is some of the things that I wish I would have known when I first started shooting. First thing is when you go to the gun counter and you're thinking, hey, I've been inspired, I want to buy a gun. What should I buy? You got all kinds of different guns. Here's one in particular that is a barrel action Browning double barrel, or not barrel action, but it's a break action Browning double barrel. This is a Winchester SXP pump action 12 gauge. This is a Benelli Ethos Sport semi-auto. You know, there's going to be all kinds of different guns that are going to be within your price range to choose from. Now, which one to pick, right? I just found out something that I liked and bought it and started shooting it, and I did pretty good at it. But what I didn't know is, did the gun fit me prior to doing a lot of adjustments? And so you can avoid a whole lot of mistakes and things if you just buy one that already fits you decently in the first place. And how do you know that, right? So we're going to be talking about gun fit just a little bit. We're not going to go into a lot of detail. A lot of the avid shooters, the ones that do it all the time, their guns are very adjustable. They have adjustable ribs. They'll have adjustable combs, butt plates. It'll have curve for right-hand, left-handed shooter. A lot of adjustments. And some of the cheaper ends, or not cheaper end, but the guns that might be in the $300 to $500 range, you know, are not going to have a whole lot of adjustments. The rib's not going to adjust. It may have a right-handed curve to it because most of the shooters are right-handed. You'll be able to either buy or take off the butt plate to change the length of pull, which is from the trigger to the butt of the gun. But that's basically all its adjustments are going to have. You get into a little bit more money of a gun, you're going to have shims that adjust the right hand, left hand. You're going to have more of adjustments in your butt plate there. This one doesn't, but it does have a little bit of an adjustment already there. Raised rib, has mid bead, end bead, and you can do a little more adjustments with this gun. This gun, like I already said, it has a few more adjustments. We can adjust this comb higher and side to side. We can adjust the butt plate. This rib doesn't adjust, but that is accommodated for here in this adjustment. And so those things, so you understand, why is that important to have a gun that fits you? Well, in a regular rifle situation, you have a front sight and you have a rear sight, and you line those up and you'll be straight. In a shotgun setting, your eye is the rear sight, and if your eye is to the right, or if your eye is to the left, or too high or too low, you're not in line with where you're looking, where that barrel needs to be to shoot the target. So let's say you're at the gun shop, they hand you this gun you've selected, you think looks cool. Now you're going to grab it, you're going to hold it, and you're going to say, all right, where's the length of pull? Because that determines how far away your face is and where it fits in your shoulder. So you're going to put it into your shoulder, and you're going to put your finger semi on the trigger. You always make sure it's unloaded. And that length of pull, how do you tell, right? So typically your shoulder and your elbow come to a square normally, but when that comes into your shoulder, you want that to be not square. You want it to be just past square. You don't want it to be too tight or your hand's too close to your face. You don't want it to be too far away, because now your eye's too far away from the rear sight's position. And that's called length of pull. You want it just past square. The other way to tell is when it's in your shoulder and you've mounted the gun, your cheek's up here close, you're somewhat lined up. How far away is your thumb to your nose? That's the other indicator. Is in my past square, a little tighter, is my thumb 2 inches, 3 inches, ½ inch away from my thumb. And sometimes you can adjust, you can tell by just finger length. Now if that's 2 fingers, 2½ fingers, you're just about right. So that's something to look for. So they've handed you this gun, you're like, okay, length to pull, that feels about right. The other thing you want to look for is how high the comb is. When you put that up to your face and you close your eyes, open your eyes, and now look down the barrel, is your dominant eye where you can see most of that rib, not all of it, but most of it, the mid bead and the end bead. We have an image I'd like to show about what that might look like, where you have a mid bead and an end bead and how those are supposed to look down the barrel. Once you have your rear sight in place and you can see most of that barrel, you have now created that rear sight like a rifle would be, so that your eye is right in line. You don't want your eye to be, as we know, it's unloaded. You don't want your eye to be over the barrel, because then you're going to shoot crooked. You don't want it back over here to the left of the barrel, because then you're going to shoot crooked. You don't want your eye up too high, because then you're going to shoot too low. You don't want your eye too low, because then you're going to shoot too high. You want it just right. Does that make sense? Because your eye is that rear sight. Now we've discovered, I either need a gun that's need a higher comb, and you can go through those guns and pick, this one seems to fit me better. And if you know those things, right out of the bag you're going to find a gun that fits you better than just someone that went in and bought the gun and say, I'm going to go shoot. And why am I missing, right? Now you understand that maybe it's a gun fit issue. Maybe there needs to be a few adjustments. The other things that you can do is you can make sure the gun is empty. Go to the mirror, mount the gun, and make sure you can see your eye. You don't want to see the white of your eye. You don't want to see just the pupil, but you want to see color and pupil. And we have an image that we want to show you on that too. So those are some things you can do when you're going to buy the gun, and you want to generally buy something that fits you right out of the box. Then you can start making some adjustments. If it's close, buy a longer butt pad or one that has a little more cushion to it. Adjust the comb if necessary, or put a spacer on the comb if needed. Things to be aware of. And a lot of guys will come out to the range for the first time and they'll say, man, I'm just not hitting anything. Well, that's the first thing I look at if I'm helping them, is does the gun generally fit you? And we're a general public, so they're going to make a gun that fits the general public, but we're all different. So that's something I wanted to let you guys know. The other thing is when you first go out there, it'll be a little bit of an intimidation factor. These guys will have really high-end guns. We all want you out there to shoot with us. We all want gun safety. Make sure you know the rules. Know what gun safety is all about. Know the range rules, because those will be a little bit different than some other ranges. But generally, they want you to walk around with the actions open. Like in this case, it's the break action. That action's open. They don't want you to walk around with the action closed. They want it open. Same thing with the semi-autos. They want to see that action open when you walk around. And when you're walking around, you're not pointing it at anybody. You're pointing it at the ground. You're pointing it to the ceiling. You know, safe places like that. They also have rules on how many you can chamber, how many rounds you can put in the gun, you know, for the different disciplines that you do. Sporting clays, you'll have 2 rounds in the gun, right? The 5 stand, you're going to have 2 rounds in the gun. Trap, you're going to have 1 round in the gun unless you're shooting doubles. Skeet, you're going to have 2 rounds in the gun and only. So like this gun doesn't have that capability to do more than 2, but all these other ones do have that capability to do more than 2. Even when you're hunting, you can't do more than 3 most states. So, with that being said, I wish I would have known that when I went to the gun shop for the first time to buy my first gun. I just bought something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm decent, but I'm not hitting much. Why? Well, my eye is at rear sight, and you have to make sure that eye is in the right place. And we'll talk about how to consistently do that in the next video. So, I wanted to also let you know about the next videos. This is going to be in a series, so we're going to do several of these, probably 4 of these. And we'll talk about different things that make you a better shooter as a beginner. And so if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't liked it, please do so. It helps us out a lot on the channel. Also, if you want some merchandise like the Boom and Pop merchandise, we have hats and hoodies, things like that. I'll leave a description in the description. I'll leave a email if you guys email us and order those if you'd like to. So thanks for watching.